So I'll just review. I had lots of work today. I had an appointment in the morning. Uh, they came they came late, meaning I thought I just had one appointment today, but another one came. It was either going yesterday late in the day, or I said to Christine, just stack it next to my other appointment at 11. Put it before or after. And I was told that it was going to be one girl and to give her half price. So after my first appointment, my first treatment, uh, 6 people walked in the door, and I was like, oh, I heard it was one. So we did head checks, and then was determined that I would have 4 treatments to do. And I was like, oh no, because I didn't eat breakfast, and my stomach was growling after the first treatment. And I was going to say, we made it work. The woman that lobbied to get the half price was for her daughter's friends. Girl, she has daughters, and she hangs out with another family of daughters, but I believe they live with their father, at least part-time. Situation is, she was lobbying for him so that those girls could get rid of lice, because her girls hang out with them and her girls keep getting lice. So she wanted, she was lobbying to get that done. And but I think all the girls in his family had it. So did I get that right? How many kids were there? It's been a long day. She was nice. She said she'd buy me something to eat. The kids said that they, talked about Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm like, no, I don't do that. Yeah. Or mall food. It's like, nah, I'm over MSG also. um, So I said that I like a sandwich at Rosemont Deli. It's just down the street at the stoplight on the right. And they make a daily sandwich with focaccia in the refrigerated area. And it's either going to be with meat or vegetable, and select one. And that would be great. And so she took 2 of the girls to the mall because that was their lure, to go to Pink. I guess Pink is a place in the mall. And it was very funny because she said, because they live an hour away, they live in Booth Bay, and she said, to get them all down here, they had to have a lure, a reward, and that was to go to Pink. And I learned from the girls that Pink is really targeted for girls in college. It's well, I said, well, what kind of clothing in it? Well, they said it was bras and underwear, but it was also casual clothing. And so I'm looking at them, and they have pink on everything. And so I say, well, it's leggings, t-shirts, and sweat tops. And they said, yeah. I'm like, okay, I get that. I can see how that's very collegiate. It's comfy. You stay up late, you could sleep in those clothes and roll right out of it and go to class or whatever. Go to a pancake breakfast. It's comfort clothing. It's not too precious in the way that it's worn. I was going to try and think about I wanted to tell you, what didn't work today. I'll get back to that. What didn't work today? But maybe I'll continue with some of the fun dialogue with the girls. Their mom was telling me that it's really made for older girls, but these young girls that don't have any hips or anything yet, uh, they like it. They really like it. They want it. And they will tell their mom, it fits. Look, it fits. They want to fit into pink clothing. And mom's like, okay, you know. And I put it to her this way, look, it right now is too loose. It fits. And when it's tight, they'll go, it fits. You know, when they develop some hips. But that was the quest. It was to get to the Lice Salon clinic, was also to make sure they got to the mall and got to go shopping at Pink and get something from Pink and have the branding everywhere. What else? What else? Is there anything else before I get to what didn't work today? What didn't work today? Before my first appointment, Tim, the person who caretakes the grounds and lives just in back and diagonal to the office building that I work in, where there's several offices. He came in. He popped in. I heard someone come up the door, and I was trying to take one of my notes to myself and trying to get it down before the client, because once the client comes in, then I need to engage. I need to be there. And what happens sometimes is the thought I'm trying to remember to me gets lost. Because I didn't jot it down, and then it's taken up, it's taken away in terms of, we start this dialogue, you're going to ask me a question, I'm going to give you an answer, you're going to give me a question, I'm going to give you an answer. I'm never going to be able to, hey, can we just stop this for a moment so I can check in here and get my note down? So I was very industriously trying to craft that note, and I could hear him coming up the stairway, who I thought was the client, and they opened the door, but I was still writing, and they didn't say anything, so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to write and finish this. And then I finished it, and I looked up, and it was Tim. And he's like, hi. And I'm like, hi. And he's like, how are you? And I said, fine. He's like, I've not seen you. And I said, well, I was in a cast. And he's like, have you been busy? Have you been working? I said, well, you know, typically winter and holidays is the low season for this business, meaning it's not busy. And, you know, so we dabbled a bit about the conversation. Well, are you busy? Are you working enough? Well, I've been in a cast, Tim. I haven't been here. It's like, I haven't seen you. I've been in cast. Thanks for asking. This is great to see you. Good. It's good to see you too. And then I could hear the other people coming up, which would be the clients. And so give them a hug for the new year. Nice seeing you, you know. Acquaintance is someone I've worked there for 3+ years, and I would say I probably know him because Minnow runs into him. Because I would once we go over the back parking lot, there's like a little knoll, and then it goes into the Kapisic Nature Conservancy. And so Minnow, I let run free out there. And sometimes Minnow freelances, goes back over the knoll, and runs wherever he will. But I don't like that because it gets too close to traffic. Well, he ran into Tim once he goes over the knoll coming back to where we work. And Tim has a lot of equipment in that back parking lot to service not only my building as a caretaker, but the building next to it. I know that at the very least, because I see him working over there. What didn't work? Well, so I gave him a hug. Happy New Year, man. Nice seeing you. He always seems to, you know, have like a little twinkle in his eye, and I thought, you know, I thought we were friends. He's like, can I kiss you? I'm like, oh, how French. Yes, why not? I say yes to myself. I should say, fuck me dry first, okay? Because I feel awkward about what I think he was freelancing for. Here's the thing. I've met Tim's wife also. Yes, he has a wife. And if he's trying to feel me up and engage my kissability with wanting more kisses, I'm saying what didn't work today is leaving the bridge of suspicion slash awkwardness. So, and then it's nagging in my head. Which is it? And pick one, or either, or both, or not, but it's not like you can walk away from it because you work here and you go outside with Minnow, and chances are you're going to run into this person, so think ahead. How do you want to shape this? Well, what was it? I don't know, but it kind of bugs me because I feel if you're trying to fill me up with a kiss and you got a perfectly good wife at home, and I know you didn't bring the time, and you're not getting it what you want at home, is because it's not her problem, it's yours. So then you think I'm a cheap chump. Okay. I'm a cheap chump for being friendly. Okay. That's what it means. Essentially. If that kiss was meant to be something. See, that's it. Why would you kiss me? Why would you ask to kiss me on the lips? Okay. And then check to see how I felt about it. Okay. Anyway, so that's what didn't work today. What else? I recorded some of my dialogue and conversation. I don't know how well it's going to come from where I keep voice notes, where I could keep a voice note on my phone, but I'll try and put some of that dialogue up, kind of like you can listen like a fly on the wall. There's interesting meta. I always wish that even the way I lay out a conversation to the question or to I've been doing this for over 3 years, so I generally know the trajectory of where the question's going to go. And I have to say, being in a cast, I'm not as fluid in it because I've not been, doing it day after day and several times a day. So I've got more gaps of, oh yeah, you're going here. Okay, yes, okay. Lice have gills. And they need to breathe through them, but scientifically, understanding that, they also need to express water. That's why the petroleum product, dimethicone, is more efficacious than your olive oil, because when you're trying to suffocate the lice, it could hold its breath for 8 hours and longer in water. So you're working against the lice's strength. If you understand it needs to express water, from what I see when I have a bug on my napkin and I put a dot of oil on it, oftentimes it stops moving right away. I've seen some of them kick for 3 to 5 minutes, which I'm like, ew, come on, get to it. But when we put it on your head, I like to part 1/2 inch and push it in with my finger because that's where the bug eats. It eats your scalp, and 1/2 hour is probably sufficient to kill the lice, by causing it to implode because it can't express water. But we generally suggest an hour, because what's going to happen in an hour is your scalp is warm and that oil is going to spread out. And we want it to spread out and cover all your scalp real estate, so that it creates an inhospitable environment for the lice, and it will die if it tries to eat you as its meal. Oh, there was a great conversation, and I'm hoping that I got that. So I was talking with the girls. I was talking about Tim. It's like, oh, this is just nagging me. I gotta talk about it. What do you guys think? These are young girls, approximately 7th, 8th grade. Now, that was the first crew. So there were 4 girls. 2 went to the mall while 2 stayed, and then she got lunch, and then I worked on the next 2, and the other 2 would then go to the mall. But first girls, I think, were 7th grade. Next girls were 8th, no, 9th. Freshman and junior, 9th and 11th. And it was with the 9th and the 11th. We had a conversation of, because I was, the girl wanted to see her bug. She's like, because I pulled in, I'm like, yeah, you got a bug. So I'm standing behind her. I'm like, got a bug. She's like, can I see it? I'm like, yeah, you can see it. Could put in a little bag for you, your scrapbook if you want. She's like, no. She liked chicken nuggets. I could hear her talking about it. So I'm like, well, it could be a little, put on your chicken nugget. This could be a little protein, little crunchy protein for you. And then the conversation started like, wouldn't it be interesting if we ate the lice? And I'm like, yeah, then it'd have to try and work its way out of your stomach. And the conversation with us 3, they came up with the meta of let's see, how did it roll out? Yeah, that they were flipping and transposing. Say, for instance, what if the lice were, in the stomach, and now to be lice, they had to eat their way out. And they would be afraid of us because they knew we ate them. And what if we were bigger than the lice, which they are? Or what if the lice were bigger than us, but they knew at a microscopic level we ate them? They would still be afraid. So it was just kind of interesting dialogue, listening to what the girls came up with what if, and with their imaginations. And after I finished the first set of girls that then would be able to go to the mall to get pink clothing, to go shopping for pink clothing, they asked for a shower cap. And not everyone wants a shower cap, so I'm like, fine, we'll put if you want a shower cap. And the 2 girls look like twins, and so I asked, are you sisters? And there's this silence, and they were looking at each other, and then they're like, it was a yes, and then it was a no, and then it was like, people ask us that all the time, so we tell them yes, because it's easier than no, we're not. And we're not even related, we're not even sisters, we're not twins, and we're not related. I'm like, wow, you really look alike. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, basically we hear that all the time, so we just say yes. Which the next set of girls came in and said, no, they are twins. And I'm like, okay, I'll tell you what, it just depends on who you're asking, when you're asking and what you're asking, I suppose. And the answer you're going to get is a mystery. So that's fine. That's well and good. You know, you're paying my bill. That's fine. It does make having a conversation a little bit confusing if you really want to nail down the facts. Who did I speak with? And who are they supporting? Behind my back or in my front? Speaking of which, if you only have 2 hyphenated zeros and you're not IT, you're not the air right here, you know you're speaking to cast the hand out to go forward on your ass sprout. Okay? It's not okay. It's not a tear really, okay? It's a tear, R-E-E-L. Okay, put some hyphens between that R and the eel hyphen. What else? Yes, so that was one thing I thought I would do, is give some tidbit dialogue from working. It's very curious. I mean, if I slow down and think it through while I'm delivering the information to the question, the meta is really synchronous. It has a lot of synchronous. I'm not thinking very well because I'm kind of tired. I can't think of how to say the word. Synchronicity. Is that it? It has that. Timing. To be aware. We usually talk pets because Minnow's there. So they'll say they have a pet, Roger. Roger's getting groomed. And we'll ask about him and his characteristics. And then there's Joe. Joe is a Dalmatian. Gosh, what is that really smart dog? Definitely need to give it exercise. It's black and white. And I can't think of it right now. Anyway, it was a mix of that. And I said, oh, that dog's active, isn't it? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I need to give it, several years, because I asked how old it was, and Joe's like 1.5. I'm like, okay, it's still a puppy, and it's wired for energy. Let's see. Yeah, it's very curious to know boundaries. If you know that every man is frame and doffed 2x2 to speak tone on you, to get a new dude hyphenated through, someone that wants to kiss me on the lips and they're married has not, and they're not satisfied, hasn't brought the time. Okay. And they haven't brought it to me either. If I'm going to be an ag perpetually because shoe on the other foot, ag Jesus, G-S-U-S, there's no one to screw, okay, that would have D-E-W-E. It would have do with you, okay? So I'm seeing two, Ford do. Okay, Ford you and do with you. Because you would have on my frame. Because I would have, obviously. Dob, obviously, date of birth, okay? What else? My Twitter is back apparently. I saw when I was at work that it was, they thought it was automated. Yeah. Oh, you wish, hyphen T. You wish, hyphen T, it was automated. Let's see. Minnow's bored. I know. It's a pretty warm day, but we need to get out. We didn't get a whole lot. Maybe I should put something nice for your kibble, like some wet food. Some Tylee's raw wet food, Minnow. Would you like that on your kibble? Yes? Okay, well we're gonna change gears for just a moment because Minnow wants to do something fun. I want him to get bored. He's too young to be sullen and bored. I'll be back in a moment. Minnow would rather have yogurt right now than his raw wet food. I had a Greek style yogurt. This one I have right now is Wallaby's Organic Greek Strawberry. It's really thick, and I like their vanilla bean with real vanilla bean in it. And it's whole milk. It's very satiating. I like that also. Anyway, I had a Fage, F-A-G-E, and it was getting close to the expiration date, so I had the yeast to get to. So I popped the lid on one, big one, and gave it to Minnow. So when I was eating mine, he can eat his. So I think now when he sees this, he's like, oh, that's my game now. That's my bid, you know? The fact of the matter is that, you know, in the time that I have my little snack and I put it back in the fridge, he licks his and, you know, so we have a snack together. I could show you. Hey, Minnow, are you all done? Are you all done in there? Aww. Aww. We'll leave it there for him to discover because he will discover it. One of the meta for how we get rid of lice besides the heat and start at the nape of the neck and go circle back and forth and then end on the crown. And if you have a really active bug infestation, they will migrate all to the top. And then we use Clean Green, K-L-E-E-N, and it's an enzyme that dissolves the glue of the egg. Well, I think it's very interesting meta because I'm proposing Clean Green, you know? Trace your follow-through. War is not necessary. War is necessary for doff to toft. Okay, and the ag is providing for that ID to look like a primary mover of laying down stupid life to Ford, the shallow Ford, to Ford in red, redo the shallow life to be stupid 2x2. Okay, so the law is masquerading, you know, the lineage of Jesus Christ under God, and I'm saying fuck you, 2 by 2. Okay, you have no do in the law -t, and you're staging a misuse. You're staging every woman to believe in you, toy wood, woo -d, the date to compete for no reason, defend, and 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 then using the miss to misuse. Okay, put some hyphens in that to pass the time to toy wood. Okay. Guess what, Minnow? You want some petting? I have something for you. Do you see it over there? Look at this. What if I... Yeah, look at that. I think he rather likes a big vat. And it's nice because he doesn't gobble it up, he licks it. It's almost... It's very tender. It's like he's in love. You know, I love my yogurt. Let's see. So clean grain and what else? So I gave him that vat earlier. I can't remember if it's today or yesterday. I can't remember. Can't remember. When I go to pick it up to put it away so he doesn't eat it all in one sitting, he puts his mouth on it like, wait. You gave it to me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna give it back to you, okay? Anyway, it's a nice little project. What we're trying to do sometimes in winter in Maine is not get cabin fever. It's a little project for him. Hi, Minnow. Are you done? Minnow's kind of interesting. Honeyhound, first dog, feral hound, would die by popping. If I let that dog into a room with a banquet of food, would eat, had no off trigger. Would eat till it popped. Minnow's a little, I mean, it's there. I don't usually give him the opportunity to load up that way as much as he wants, but he's walked away from it a few times. He does that with his kibble in his bowl too. He's like, not hungry now. How are we doing there, sweetie?
Hi, should I help you? How are you?
Are you excited? Do you like your own vat of yogurt? I'm checking for that long tooth. I get a long tooth if it's chicken. What about yogurt? I'm checking for the long tooth, Minnow. Oh. Let's see. How's it going? How's it going, little guy? Oops. This on a little funny. Let me help use that. And what else have we got here? Well, a little bit of that. We got a little bit of this. Oh, sorry about that. Like that, and like that. Voila! Voila! Hello. Hello, little amino. Mwah! You didn't give me a long tooth. How sweet. You give me a long tooth when you got a chicken chew. I'm staring at a tagline. I'm built for this. I'm built for H-I-S. I am. Oh, here we go. I better help him here. We better save some for another day, you know. Oh, one of the things I was hoping was on the recording that didn't work was the dialogue. The girls wanted a shower cap. Not everyone does, and so I said, yeah, I'll get a shower cap for you. And as for style options, you have whether it covers your ears or the ears are on the outside. And the girls were commenting like, yeah, this is going to be like, you know, a cool look to go to the mall. And I said, well, you know, you've got a twin, you know, your sister slash friend, Mystery, and you know, you could be like hip girls selling shower cap bags, and you know, if you style it right, then people come to you, produce a product, they come to you to buy it. And so there's a little banter about, okay, we're going to the mall, and don't we look cool with a super greasy hair, you know, but it had my signature, a messy bun. Okay, I can do a messy bun. So I generally, after I put the oil on, I comb the hair back and style a messy bun, especially with the girls with the long hair. So I let them know, you know, I'm using a little steel clip, a little pin. So look for that. So you're not like, I don't know how to get it undone. Feel for the little pin that I've battened down the loose end after I took your hair, put it in a ponytail, pulled a little blob, a little bulge out, wrapped it around, and put that little pin in. Feel for the steel pin, and then it'll come undone. And then I was like, oh, I forgot you have each other. This is dialogue if you're doing it yourself. Let's see. Anyway, they're talking about how to go to the mall, how to go to Pink, to go shopping, and I said, well, you know, if you want to go discreetly, take the napkin. When you get there, take off your shower cap, check the grease around your hairline, push it back into your hair, and, you know, you can, if anyone asks or stares, you just finished your swim workout, your water ballet workout. One of the girls put in there, hot yoga Pilates, and I'm like, it works. There you go. Discreetly, take your bag off, push the grease and oil bag off your hairline, and then, you know, hey, just finished my pool workout. I was going to mention one other thing, well, actually two other things that happened today that I thought was noteworthy. One, when I explain the process to a client in the lice clinic, I speak about what I think is nice about it. What I think works is ecological with the millennium we live in. For instance, people used to treat lice with turpentine, if I remember right. Something flammable and definitely not good for your porous scalp. And at the time they were treating lice with a flammable liquid, they also had uh, wood fire stoves. And so the probability is it probably did happen that you watched your poor kid with lice, uh, their head light up on fire. Not a good idea. Not a good approach, honestly. You know, it's not really suffering contingency in advance. Um, by thinking for that hat, okay, to speak, that uh, you would lead suffering. How about you think about tit first? You know? Um, well, I brought that up because I we don't use olive oil. We don't use a natural oil either. The trade-off is, I think, is an efficacy where we no longer need to wrap our head in plastic. A couple years ago, a couple from Massachusetts had an infant with lice, and they either read it online or somebody informed them, you know, olive oil will suffocate the lice, but the lice can hold their breath for 8 hours. So what do people do? They wrap their head in plastic and sleep on it, olive oil. Well, they wrapped the baby's head in plastic, and the plastic shifted, and it suffocated the baby and not the lice. And that is a rookie mistake that I'm sure these parents are never going to forgive themselves for that. Um, so I always like to get the word out. You know, it's more efficacious. Dimethicone, dime the cone. Uh, you don't have to wrap your head in plastic for 8 hours plus, whether you're sleeping in it or you're missing a great day to be outside. Um, so when I explain the process, I talk about the heat. I talk about then using clean green, Kleen, and we dilute it 7 parts water, 1 part clean green. Then we use it also to wipe our surfaces, and then we use the dimethicone oil. You leave it in an hour, wash it out, preferably with dishwashing soap. I find the ecological dishwashing soaps that don't create a lot of lather, they don't cut that grease very well. Dawn will cut it. Um, Being in this business and being that my hair is natural curly, um, I don't mind leaving some grease in because it weights my hair down, and it serves as a shield of sorts. So I use home shampoo mixed with dishwashing soap, and I may have to wash my hair 2 or 3 times, but I can feel the tackiness. It's going to feel tacky, and you could feel it, and water's going to beat off. I can feel how much I want left. Otherwise, if I use Dawn straight up and cut the grease, my hair feels like hay, and I can't get a comb through it. It's not a problem as long as I plan to condition with a good conditioner. So a couple things that happened today besides explaining the process. The detangler. So I got a new detangler Christine got. It's Lusty brand. Who would have thought? Lusti. Anyway, and the girls were like, "Oh, it smells like double Dutch apple." Apparently that's the kind of detangler they use, and I thought that was pretty fun that was their favorite scent of the detangler, although strawberry is well liked also. Um, I can talk about the straw raw. Okay, you're drawing on the H, the hydrogen. You're drawing on the hydrogen related with to date. The hydrogen you've related with to date is written, and thus it's spoken. Okay? And but I challenge you with what you have actually well laid day. Okay? Specifically, right here to OD, outer diameter, overdose, date, 8. Date, you ate the tin and tine and thine, even estate, even gestate, even gestate. And if you're going to speak of Jesus Christ, you need to be Jesus Christ now, because otherwise you're faking it, and your premise is to forge a lie for Doft to continue on your time. You handed the tin and tine and thine, that's hyphenated. When I'm talking about the process, I advocate, I like the ecological approach for the millennium we're living in. We're not doing turpentine anymore. We're not using olive oil, and we're not wrapping heads in plastic. Okay. The ecology on the front, I very much like. On the back, we're required by law to use a barbicide. Barbicide is a skull and crossbones chemical, and to degerm the combs. It may be overkill. I do not know. I do know that I'm hesitant to throw it down the drain. Okay, and what I have done before is I've let it evaporate in the tray where I soak our combs, and then when it dehydrates sufficiently, wipe it out with a napkin and then put it in a garbage. I don't have specific training on this, but I see skull and crossbones and know it's nasty. I'm, I say I want to do my part. It's probably very insignificant about all the hair salons that throw theirs down the drain. I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know where you put it. Is it like art school? Do you have a tank set up where you put these things so they can naturally dehydrate? Again, I don't know. No one's talked to me about it. But the back is fortified with barbicide. So let's see, what else was interesting today? The girl that's a junior, she's graduating this year, and she talked to me about how she studies, she takes, what's the term? She takes classes in the summer. So she studies on her own and takes these classes. Anyway, she's graduating, and she's going to college and for biochemistry, if I remember. And I asked her, well, what's the branches of possibility? Apparently there's a lot of things you can do with that. For her, she wants to study trisome, fetal, I want to call it diseases so much. She wants to study how you can fix and repair a fetus in the womb. You can do is it called a karyotype? As people, as partners, you can overlay your chart on each other and be like, this is going to be partner A has a propensity for these traits, partner B has a propensity for these traits, and then they overlay it and then predict. You may have a child that is missing this chromosome or something. Also, that they can test the genetic chromosomes of the fetus in the womb. And she was explaining to me that, say, Down syndrome, Patau, Patau, I believe. I asked her to spell it for me, and what was the first one? Starts with an R. Anyway, those you live, but she talked about, where you're missing a chromosome or you have an extra chromosome. And you know what? I didn't really even know that. And she just kind of ran down the numbers like, well, this trisome 12 equals, you got an extra chromosome there. And anyway, it's studying how to fix fetal chromosome problems in the womb. And I thought that was very interesting. And I have to tell you, as a junior in high school, and she's just reeling off information where I'm like, wow, I'm not in that world at all. Okay. It's just making me a little nervous, honestly. Just a little bit, because she has so much poise. And I'm like, you're a junior. And so I said to her, I said, you know what you want. I said, I was wafting a little bit. If I think about that comment, I've been wafting quite a bit because anything I try, there's no one to talk to. And then it's like, well, we will screw you. Now, if this video froze, that's in quotations, meaning anyone I approach is an illusion of value. We will screw you if you want to. Well, honestly, I think I deserved better as the carrier of value. So I've been a bit reluctant to part a hyphenated take. Okay, as my B hyphen rate. But oh, God bless those that Kevin Stein prays for to sustain on my ability to date. Okay. I said to her, I go, you're gonna, she's like, well, it's gonna take me 8 years, to get her PhD. And she says, I think I could do it in 6. If I study, she's already thought it out. She's a junior. And I said, you're gonna own your home right away. She's like, yep. And I said, well, I said, I have to let you know, you've got a lot of poise, direction, for such a young person. You remind me of like qualities of a Capricorn. And she lit up and she said she was a Capricorn. And I said, well, Capricorns are thought to be the builders of cities. I said that I'm Libra, I'm a social butterfly, but I said under the shell I've got a lot of Virgo, so that's very grounding. I felt the need to address the thing that I thought was a little bit intimidating. God, she's got so much poise and direction. She is so taut from point A, my nose, to point B, exactly where I'm going, as swiftly as I can. And, I do get that. It certainly was that way in college between working out, going to class, working out again, taking a nap, studying, going to sleep, and doing it all over again, and then not being somewhere else on the weekends to compete in 3 different sports that I was All-American in. So I get the being on point, because in that sort of revolution to keep my studies with my extracurricular activity with balance, I had to understand, I had to suffer contingency in advance, understanding what I want, how to give it an allotment of follow through and to be on point, because I wanted to fulfill myself and with what I wanted to do. And if I dropped the ball, I didn't do my homework and thought I can scribe on my sleep and then go tired to my workout where I'm doing Olympic quality workouts and did qualify for the Olympic trials, you know, when I was in college. So, um, I don't know. I understand being on point. I wasted quite a bit after college. I couldn't find a connection, and I didn't have the insight for that to understand why. I hear words, I hear people speaking them, but I can't get anywhere by using them with them. I think part of it is actually self-esteem. I had a lot of self-esteem if you put me in an athletic paradigm, because I proved it to myself. I did my workouts. I did my 5 a.m. workouts by myself, you know, dark, whatever. I did a lot of workouts unseen. In fact, I would try to go do my workouts unseen to really, not so much, I want to say penalize, but that really wasn't it. Maybe unless it's right across from fortify. I wanted to fortify my motivation. I'm doing this for myself, okay, and no one else. And what was I going to get out of that? I was going to get the exact strength and feeling of contour of being the value I make. So that I could do things like be my word. I'm going to be top, 6th in the nation, and I got 6th in 1,500 meters. And then it said I'd be top 25 in the nation in cross country when I got second to last at nationals the year before and was last on a 7-person team. Didn't even score. Cross country has 7 people on it at the team. Nationals takes 200 people. I got 198th the year before, and I was the 7th person on my team. I was not even a scoring member, and I said to a reporter, they wanted to know what I was going to do with my last season of eligibility, and I said, unbeknownst to me, that I'd be top 25, which was All-American, and I got All-American. So it's a magnetic power of D serving. OD. Serving, grace and gravity, outer diameter. Speak what you mean, speak what you are. There should only be one thing we're speaking about, and that's your desire by far and fair, tear, that you are. And that you are the year R, art. The year you art, you also art. So what am I saying about the year art, the artifice? I'm talking about if you're going to make art in time for completion even, you need to be reflecting on that value, okay? That's all I'm saying. You need to be reflecting on that value too in follow through, even through. There was something else that was interesting the other day. I was in the bathroom and it has a door and there's the little crack where the hinge is. I could look out into the hallway, the galley part of the kitchen, and I could see Minnow walking to the door, you know, to look in the bathroom, but I also, through that crack in the door, saw him go the other way. And I'm like, what? How does this work? Am I seeing through that hinge, that crack in the door? Am I seeing through it with only one eye? And one eye's looking through the hinge, and then one's looking at Minnow that's in the doorway, yet I see his behind if facing the other direction if I'm looking through the hinge. And I was like, this is weird. Is this really happening? And I'm like, I cover both eyes, and I'm like, I can't figure it out. And I'm like, oh, there's a little shelving area that I put a long mirror on, and I wasn't aware of that. But when I looked through the hinge of the door by being in the bathroom, that mirror was there, and I was like, there's some meta there. Looking through the door, through the hinge, and seeing both coming and going. Seeing Minnow's both front end and tail end going in two different directions. At the same time. Mirror. I think I've developed some notes on that, but I'm not sure exactly where they are right now. At the very least, M-I-R-O-R. That's it, the zero. We're looking at the zero hinge, okay? So, zero hinge to begin. Your faith, your start by the year art and art. What you hear is your hearth. That's your head as well. And I think it's about, you know, we've got a failed system trying to compete thief-end as the means. You need to be bringing your own value as your own ass and asked tit to be AD, whether it's in your bed or someone else's, you know. And I think the process of really being the honest, the THD, the tone, the hone, and the head you've done honestly, is you're fortifying your stance that you may be really hot, okay? You may be really talented, you may be really sought after, but I think there's this sort of a dampening effect that it's not going to be sire ironically and conspire ironically misused, okay? To stoke and stroke the dudes, hyphenated. I think there's a dampening effect on that. If you want love, you need to be love, and you need to work the love in follow through. So what I see not working is women that are stulted, okay, stultified by opportunity. You want to make it in this world? Well, you better have a good image. What is that image? Big tits, big lips. You change your look with high fashion because you think well of your doff self. You think well of your stupid self because your fashion is built on war-t and to tooling a look for doffed. To rise with synchronicity, that's an illusion of value. The hotter you are to doffed is not actually a functional character to lend. And to call it talent by balling it, okay? And then saying, amen, H-amen, hey man, okay? Your day has already been hayed. We expect you to be a jackass all the way. Because apparently that's what you live for. Okay. Then you got the other people that are trying to raise, like, well, I really want Doff's attention because I need fake love. Okay. Great. Thanks for selling the GAT to OG hyphen parentheses RE hyphen AT hyphen E hyphen. Okay? I didn't do that? No, you did do that. You're standing on Doft. You're standing on stupid and paying him to stay stupid. Okay? That's your value to toss. Okay? Hyphen 0. We don't know, only God knows. No, that's not good enough anymore either. You're faking a presence to restore your sore that you pass a doff. To ask you on your low hyphen T, your lot, to toff for no reason, thief end.